You're listening to Women's Media Center Live with Robin Morgan.
Welcome to Women's Media Center Live. I'm Robin Morgan. And we have a great show for you today. We have with us one of the very early feminists, even though she's not that old at all. Still, she is an original gangster feminist, as they would say. Joyce Schorr, who is the founder and the president, still going on, of what is the largest national independent abortion fund in this country. And it does amazing work. So we're going to return to that basic again, but with news about it and updates and important alerts. And there's, of course, fighting words, and there's lots of other little goodies. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Settle down as we wait for Inside the Headlines. I am feeling quite grumpy about CNN. You have to understand this in context. At first, when CNN made its debut in 1980, I was one ecstatic news junkie. Global news, all the time, from everywhere, in depth. Oh, joy! It was a multinational news channel and website operating from Midtown Atlanta, Georgia. Founded in 1980 by American media proprietor Ted Turner and Reese Schoenfeld as a 24-hour, 7 days a week cable news channel, presently, today, owned by the Manhattan-based media conglomerate Warner Brothers Discovery. CNN was the first television channel to provide 24-hour news coverage and the first all-news television channel in the United States. As of February 2023, CNN had 80 million television households as subscribers in the U.S. According to Nielsen, in June 2021, CNN ranked third in viewership among cable news networks, behind Fox News and MSNBC. Averaging 580,000 viewers throughout the day, down 49% from a year earlier, amid sharp declines in viewers across all cable news networks. While CNN ranked 14th among all basic cable networks in 2019, it then jumped to 7th during a major surge for the three largest cable news networks, completing a ranking streak of Fox News at number 5 and MSNBC at number 6 for that year. It settled back to number 11 in 2021 and had further declined to number 21 in 2022. Now, globally, CNN programming has aired through CNN International, seen by viewers in over 212 countries and territories. Since May 2019, however, the U.S. domestic version has absorbed international news coverage in order to, and remember this, reduce programming costs. The American version, sometimes referred to as CNN US, is also available in Canada and some islands in the Caribbean. CNN also licenses its brand and content to other channels, such as CNN News 18 in India, and in Japan it broadcasts as CNN 1 or CNN I, which started in 2003 with simultaneous translation in Japanese. Now, back to the present. Once it had begun being sold to various media corporations, trouble started. For one thing, the news began to be recycled. While doing this a few times a day for viewers who may have missed breaking news earlier, this is understandable, but doing it every 10 to 20 minutes is decidedly not special feature programming. At first, at least about the news itself, in depth, was welcome, but not when this programming began to be spun off into sensationalistic docudramas. Furthermore, the sort of generic CNN anchor in many cases women, but women who were more concerned with their own brains and with reporting honorably than with their cosmetic appearance. At first, that generic CNN anchor began to morph into glamorized weather girls, for instance, and went out with the trash. Anchors, at first few women, I remember, became younger and more Hollywood-type pretty, rather than brainy investigative reporters and gutsy international correspondents who were unafraid to work from the trenches. Of late, in 2023, this is changed somewhat, all to the better. But there was a period, and the stench of it still remains, when looks triumphed over lucidity and when reporting was less than it could and should have been. Now, these days, while the journalists themselves reporting have changed much for the better, there's still a problem with new stories, or rather, the new story. Because there really, truly is only one news story at a time, to the detriment of all other news. You want to know about that terrorist explosion in India? The change of government in Mexico? The earthquake in Indonesia? The threatening tsunami in Japan? Or the assassination attempt in Slovakia? For that matter, how about the major war ongoing between Putin's Russia and the Ukraine, and the one between Hamas and Israel, and the many, many smaller proxy wars bleeding out around the world? This week, and lamentably for the foreseeable future of this electoral year in the United States, the one story is Trump in court. All day, every day, live and in living color. I cannot keep track of his avalanche of indictments and the various judgments pending, and the choosing of different judges and of different juries, the interviews with lawyers and witnesses. It is literally not possible. It's a full-time job. Trump relishes the coverage, of course, whining as ever about his being a victim at being kept in court, not by the law of the land, mind you, but ostensibly by the wicked, evil Biden administration, on purpose so that Trump can't campaign. If the Biden administration had done such a thing, I would personally thank them, since all Trump all the time is a bit much. And besides, doesn't CNN think I care about an earthquake in Turkey or in Peru? I have been driven to the BBC for my news about the rest of the entire planet. Look, I'm quite grateful to CNN for some of its programming, like the specials on the environment, the reports on poverty and on science, and the profiles of artists, serious political figures, and in-depth interviews with world leaders. But really, how many orange glowings of the Donald must we absorb in order to access them? The baseline is that he is so damned boring. Boring, boring, boring. The same poor me stories over and over, the same petulant expressions, the same bloody lies. I fail, frankly, to understand who is watching, even among his loyal, rabid fans. And in fact, television ratings have precipitously dropped during coverage of his court time. But if we were going to be force-fed coverage, then at least it might make a difference in quality, if not quantity, if we got the coverage directly. That is, live coverage of major trials of a former president of the United States from the courtroom itself. This leads me to another point, which is the Supreme Court absolute recalcitrance in permitting televised viewing of court sessions. That would lead the way and set an example for courts in this country, which now operate on an if the judge wants it, it's okay, if not, not basis. What this boils down to is that if the case is considered sensational or salacious enough, it warrants coverage, as in the O.J. Simpson trial and the trial of Alex Murdaugh in Georgia, among others. It was a murder trial, too. But if it is a trial about, say, voting rights in this country, or constitutional rights of any sort, forget about it. We might get truncated versions of audio, but no video. I don't know how this will work out in time, and I'm certainly not suggesting that every single case that goes before any court in this country should be fully televised. Judgments will have to be made and categories formed, but it will eventually change. It will change because even the Supreme Court must evolve. And if an issue pending before it is supposed to, by law, be open to the people, that will be understood finally to include being seen by the people, and not just in the physical presence in the courtroom. So I find myself yearning for the days when CNN covered other countries and other issues rather than the one story all the time, as well as yearning for cameras to be allowed in courtrooms. And dare I get greedy? Oh, why not? I certainly also desperately yearn for the days when an FCC, Federal Communications Commission, existed with teeth in it this time, and with standards that insisted whoever used airtime, public airtime, had to be for the benefit of the community, by benefit and community standards. That would free us from Fox News. Hallelujah. It's time for our first break, but I will return directly with our special guest for today, Joyce Schorr. Subscribe to this program on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. Follow us on Twitter at WMC Live, like our Facebook page at facebook.com/WMC Live, and visit us at WMCLive.com for more information about our show and our guests.
You're listening to Women's Media Center Live with Robin Morgan.
My guest for today's conversation is Joyce Schorr, who is the founder and the president of WRRAP, Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, WRAP, which is headquartered in Los Angeles and was founded in 1991. It is the only nationwide independent safety net for low-income women and girls and who are faced with ever-growing costs for abortion care services. And it's quite a pioneer. So, Joyce, she'll tell the story herself, but she realized the horrors of illegal abortion back in 1969, when her best friend in college was forced to undergo an illegal procedure. And she knew she had to do something to stop this from happening. So, from 1982 until 1988, she worked with the California Abortion Rights Action League on legislation and political races. She was then asked to come help start the Campaign for Choice division at the National Council of Jewish Women, the Los Angeles section. While there, she worked with State Senator Charles Calderon to design legislation to stop residential picketing by anti-choice zealots, and she worked with Pacific Bell headquarters in San Francisco to expose the deceitful advertising by bogus abortion clinics, which were calling themselves crisis pregnancy centers. In 1991, she proposed the idea of a fund for poor women who were unable to pay for a safe and legal abortion. This has always been the point of the spear, where it really hurts the most. And thus the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project was founded. She went on to work with U.S. Senator Barbara Boxer, who has previously been a wonderful guest on this program, on what is now the Fifth Amendment to the Crime Bill. She did many things and has been recognized as a leader in the reproductive rights movement, and has received awards for her work from the Religious Coalition for Abortion Rights, the prestigious Women Who Dared Award from the National Council of Jewish Women, the 2002 Courage Award from the Women's Lawyers Association of Los Angeles. And WRRAP itself, Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, is extraordinary. It is the only independent 501c3 abortion fund that provides urgently needed financial assistance on a national level to those seeking abortion or emergency contraception. It's the largest national independent abortion fund, and it can provide funding for abortions or emergency contraceptives in states from coast to coast, working directly with close to 700 providers across the United States. And their mission, it's the basics, to ensure that marginalized individuals of all ages, ethnicities, cultural backgrounds, gender identities, and sexual orientations can access abortion care and emergency contraception. And they provide funding for both medical and surgical procedures. Every year, WRRAP helps over 30,000 individuals who otherwise simply could not have paid for their abortions. It's a real honor for me to welcome Joyce Schorr. Well, welcome to Women's Media Center Live, Joyce. It's so wonderful that you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you reached out to us, and I'm able to do this.
Well, I'm so glad too. Why not go to the originator, the starter of it all? Now there are lots and lots and lots of abortion funds and resources for women, but there weren't when you started it all. So let's go back to the origins and talk about how you started it, why you started it, and what you went through to get it started, which can't have been very easy.
Well, let me start with that. I was a bright-eyed and innocent 18-year-old living in Palm Beach, Florida, very sheltered. Wow. And I go to Atlanta, Georgia for college, and I meet my best friend. Uh-huh. And she gets pregnant.
Oh,
and
wow.
she has to have, and this is 1969.
Oh,
and
God.
She has to have a legal abortion. And it just threw me because I never had been involved really in that. I like I said, I just didn't. Not even girls in high school. I didn't know any of them that had abortions. It was so hush hush.
Right,
nobody talked about it.
Right.
And so when I got there, and she was taken, I had to go to Tennessee because they couldn't even get an illegal abortion in Georgia. I mean, think about that. And when she got back, she was not in any serious trouble, but she was bleeding, and she was not feeling well, and she was very stressed out. We were all stressed out, and it really affected me for forever because I graduated, went on and did my stuff, and then I'm eating at a Carl's Jr. restaurant in California, and there are women from the NOW organization putting flyers on women's cars, on people's cars. And I ran out and grabbed it. I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "We want you to know about this." And it said that the Carl Karcher, who owned at the time Carl's Jr., was rabidly anti-abortion, and a portion of the money that people were spending for their hamburgers and food was going to that cause. And it went off like a bomb in my head. I started thinking about my friend. I started thinking about what we had to go through. I just said, I can't let this happen. I just can't let this happen. I've got to dig in and make sure women don't go through this. That's why.
What a little leaflet can do, my God.
What a little leaflet can do. And
wow.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, people at Carl's Jr. weren't happy, but I was thrilled because it was not spoken about. It was a hush-hush thing. People didn't. I mean, now it's on everybody. It's on every page. It's on every station.
Right.
But then it was, and it wasn't. And I started going to the normal places. Like I would go to the malls, and I would sit in the malls with my pamphlets about abortion becoming illegal and blah blah blah. We were under Ronald Reagan because thank you, Ronald, you did this to the country.
Yeah.
But I did what I could, and then I got involved with the California Abortion Rights Action League, KREL,
right.
Under a name of a woman by Robin Schneider, who I don't even know what happened to Robin, but she was leading it all, and I got involved, and I would do phone banking and all that other information that people needed to know, and speaking as much as I could in public places.
Right.
then one day, I got a call from a woman at the National Council of Jewish Women and saying, we're starting a pro-choice satellite division, and we'd like you to come help us run it. I was very honored, and I went over there, and I started with them the Satellite for Choice, and that was in 1980, I want to say maybe 87, 87, 88, yeah. And I went there, and I brought this idea to them because one thing that I was acutely aware of was that these women didn't have money.
Right, of course.
They were all poor, indigent, a lot of indigent women, poor. And I mean, women that had money were getting theirs out of the country.
Absolutely, that's always been the case. I mean, it's
always been the case, and I still think it's the case now with what
they can go to another state, they can go to another country. Right. The hell with it.
That's exactly right.
Why should they bother? Yeah.
Exactly. So I brought the idea to NCJW. They loved it, and we started WRRAP, which is, of course, the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. And
that was in 91, in 1991?
1991, correct.
Wow.
And the first call we got, so we were taking calls from the women, okay? Yeah. And the first call we got was from a woman in prison.
Oh.
Now, the person that would answer the phone flipped out because she didn't know what to do. So, of course, I had to direct that woman to a provider so that she could, where she was, and she had to go and get the prison staff involved. I don't even know if they actually got it for her because I was never able to speak to her again, but I did give her information. And then I realized, you know what? I'm not a social worker. I really shouldn't be. She needs to talk to somebody who knows. And I know that Planned Parenthood has social workers, and they work with these women, and they tell them their options. And I said, this is what we have to do. The clinic has to call us. The clinic is the one that needs to make the call so that we can get the information quickly, easily, no theatrics, because speaking to somebody in prison is theatrics.
Oh, God.
I mean, you'd have to, first of all, you couldn't put me in there because I would kill somebody on the way.
I know.
I was like, oh, my God. And I said, nope, we can't do that. And I'll tell you a later story about that decision. And so we started getting calls. It was very hard at first. And then we heard about the National Network of Abortion Funds being formed. And so we went back there and we started it. We were the only declared national fund. We still are the only declared national fund.
You're the largest national independent abortion fund. I mean,
yes, we are.
You're extraordinary.
Well, thank you so much.
This is talk about going to the source. You are the source.
Well, thank you. And so we started taking calls, and it started off slow because we had to get the word out. And then when NAF was born, they started really giving out information. And as the word picked up, we got more and more calls. And of course, because we're national, we worked with local funds when they didn't have enough money. Mm-hmm. So we were also a backup for any local fund in any state where they just didn't have enough. Mm-hmm. And so we've been doing the good work for many, many years, helping a lot of women. And I have to tell you, it's amazing what's happened and what's going on now. But I have to tell you, everybody knows about it now. When I was trying to get people to believe, they did not believe me. Oh, that's never going to happen. Oh, the court's never going to overturn it. I can't tell you how many intelligent women I heard this from.
I know.
And I said, no, it's happening. It's starting. It's happening.
That's
they're very
right.
good. I said it's going to be. They're going to be working. That's right. And so anyway, and I kept on trying to go, raise money and have.
Look what you built. I mean, you just in this last year alone, I think it's over 2,200 people got close to $465,000 in funding for surgical or medical abortions. And of them, 63% were women of color.
Of color, yes.
Were poor women of color, and a huge amount of women. I think it's something like, 70-something odd percent of women. Yeah, over 78% of the people you help have had their partner abandon them, leaving the entire.
Oh yes, that's
cost.
The sticking. That that gets stuck in my craw. I am so angry about that. They disconnect their phone numbers. They don't call them back. It's awful. We had one woman. The man tried to beat her up. She jumped out of the second floor window.
God.
Okay, and broke her leg. to get away from him. Because, when women are pregnant, that's when they're most vulnerable to violence.
Yeah.
And so we've had some harrowing stories, and we've done incredible work. I call it God's work, because I believe it is.
Well, I think
and I'm not religious, but I believe it's God's work. This is what God would want me to do.
I think God herself would agree with you.
Herself, that's right. She's wonderful. She is wonderful.
She is wonderful.
So anyway, so I don't know if we're now at 30, we're going into our 35th year, which is pretty amazing.
God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me how does it, finish your thought, and then I'd like you to tell me
how
it actually works, the process. How does the money get to the woman?
I got all these women who wanted to get involved in taking the calls. So we had a hotline. And they call, and then the clinic calls, leaves a message, and then we call them back, and we give them the money. They tell us what they need, they tell us what they have, and we do as best that we can to get them the procedure. And we send them we have a release form that they sign, holding us harmless. Of course, that it wouldn't mean anything to the antis, but we did it just because we thought it was a smart thing to do.
Right.
And our attorney said, yes, get it signed. So they sign it, they send it in. If they didn't sign it, we wouldn't pay. So they all signed it, they all came through, and then we would cut the check and send it to the clinic. And the clinic so the clinic is our client because we knew that we had to have a situation where a woman could be in a safe, in a safe place, not a prison.
That's right.
In a safe place, and they could pick up the phone and call us, and they could be heard. So,
and where a man couldn't rip her off for the money, or where she wouldn't be vulnerable. You have to get direct. Right. Exactly.
Exactly. Now,
very smart.
So it was very hard because there's such a hush-hush situation. I mean, Robin Abakarian has done some articles on WRRAP and whatever, but by and large, they didn't want to cover it. And very few wanted to cover it because they didn't want the backlash. And they did, and they got it. And we've had creeps call us and leave lousy messages, which we just delete and report if we can. But bottom line is that's how we did it. And I want to tell you, in this predicament that we're in now with bans and all.
Yeah.
One of the attorneys that we work with, one of the firms, said, "You're different from all the other abortion funds. You don't speak to the women directly." Mm-hmm. No, we don't. We talk to them through the clinic. We speak to the clinics, and she said, that's very smart because the other people have more of a direct involvement with that woman, whereas you have no involvement. You're just giving money to a clinic. I said, well, when I did do that after the woman called from prison.
Yeah.
I said I really felt terrible. I just felt terrible because I knew that it was going to be harder to get in touch with us. But it worked, and it got out there, and thank God for the internet. I mean, that's really where we raised our awareness and got people. Wow. And they donated money. They gave what they could, but we didn't have any of the big heavy hitters. That we had to get, and then we finally got some heavy hitters, and they helped us.
This is all by donation. This is the
donation.
I mean, when Ms. Magazine calls you, as they did, the mother of the largest national independent abortion fund, that's a lot of mothering there. So this is all by donation, online and in person.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all donated to you, who then pay the clinic, who chooses. Then you choose the women because the women write to you.
No, they go through the clinic.
Oh, they go to
everybody
the clinic.
Goes to when they make that appointment and they're sincere about having an abortion, and they go in and. Because otherwise, what we learned is, we won't even, we give them some money to her. Where do we send it? Does she have a home? Does she have an address? Bottom line is, what's she going to do with the money? Okay, I'm sorry, you have to ask those questions.
No, it's true. It's true.
And so we figured this is the best way to do it. And so the clinic is where we send the money, and the clinic calls us when they have a woman in need. But it's from 50 states, so we get quite a few
I was just going to say, you get a few calls, huh?
Yeah, not anymore like we got, but more only because so many states have closed down and we're getting people traveling, which is adding to the damn cost. Oh, my God. I can't believe how expensive it is.
Of course.
My heart breaks. I said to my husband last night when they came out and said that they're going to, Trump says that they're going to have states are going to start monitoring the women to see that they completed their pregnancies.
Jesus.
I just started to cry.
Well, it's straight out of Handmaid's Tale. I mean, it really is.
It sure is.
It's
sure
Meg.
is.
Meg Atwood is fortunately not in her grave, or she would be turning in it. Fortunately, she's alive and well, but
she's turning.
but she's turning. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, this is incredible. And I, although I was never one of the people who said, "Oh, they'll never overturn Roe," I always was afraid somehow they were working too tirelessly not to. But and besides, I always felt. And sometimes said publicly, but didn't mostly want to roil the waters, but sometimes said that we should have come in under human rights,
under human rights.
Not under privacy, rather.
Not under privacy. The 14th Amendment did not hold it for us.
Exactly. And that way it would have been locked in forever. And so I was always a little dissatisfied. On the other hand, it was the best we could get at the time, so we got it.
That's all we could do.
That's right.
Exactly.
So we did.
I mean, we did it. Listen, we fought hard for that, And
that's right.
And I have the scars to show.
I bet you do, honey.
Because some of those people were very nasty people, But it really was. I was so pleased to hear from the attorneys that we're using for all the, we've got to call you up and see what we need to do about this since Roe fell. And they said you were so smart to put this through the clinic, and because you're not being looked at the way all the other funds are being looked at.
Oh God! And
because they work directly.
Where are you based?
Well, we're based in L.A.
You're based
I'm in MA now because my husband and I came back to live here to be with our kids and our grandkids. And I hired the most phenomenal executive director since I left. She is a marvelous. It's a gift. It's a gift. Okay.
A good executive director is a gift.
She's a gift. She's a gift. Listen, I was an activist that had an idea. Okay. I wasn't a nonprofit protege. I didn't have any of that background. Okay. But I built it with with sheer guts and determination. And there's probably things that I would have liked knowing because it was a nonprofit. I didn't do anything, there wasn't anything we got in trouble over, but just certain other things about how to go after money or whatever. And we started collecting some money. We started getting some big donations in, and we were doing really, much better, but still not making enough to cover the calls.
Right.
So, the one thing that came out of Roe falling was that people are aware now.
Oh, yeah.
And we got in so much money. Sylvia raised so much money that I look at the figures and I go, I can't believe this.
Well, because people know where it's going, and they know it's going to a good place, and they know that it's a political place, and they know it's at the heart of democracy at the same time.
Exactly.
So it's all bound up in one thing. This is why every state where it's been in a referendum has come through for us. I mean, I can't believe, we're talking, Kansas level states. So we're talking, we can't. And Alabama's now up in arms over,
Alabama.
but when you got Alabama and Kansas sort of vaguely on your side, you think, wow, they never were on our side before. Yeah.
I want to see what happens with Florida with getting that initiative.
Exactly.
They finally got it on the ballot, because if I could take down one person, it would be Ron DeSantis. He is the nastiest, and people think he's he's smart. He's highly educated and smart, and he uses it to hurt people, which just blows my mind. This country is under the hypnosis of the Christian right.
It really is.
It is.
And I've done many shows on this and on fundamentalism, and it just makes me crazy. I mean, I begin to be a total frothing at the mouth mad woman,
me too. Me too. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking at what's going on, and we have the momentum behind us now with with the abortion rights, but we have these white Christian nationalists that are so scared that they're going to be outnumbered by black and brown people and people that are minorities, and we are a country of immigrants. We built this country with the immigrants. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I want to talk about it more. And when I get with people who I know don't know a lot, I bring it up. I said, we are under siege right now.
Right.
What do they control? Like 34 states, or quite a few states they control.
Well,
at the legislature.
they have been working at the state level when we have been seduced by the national level, by the federal level.
Exactly. Seduced is
And
a very good word.
well, as presidential races, they're really important. And people, I've had people literally tell me in the past, "Oh well, the court doesn't matter."
Mm-hmm.
The court doesn't matter. Excuse me. I'm back with Bush v. Gore, and even when Hillary was running, I had people say, "Oh yeah," and I was reduced. It makes me stutter. I was reduced to saying, "But at least the court, for God's sake, you got to think of the court," and then have people tell me, "Oh, look, the court doesn't really matter."
Right.
Oh
right.
my!
I've
God.
heard that many times.
Now they know. They certainly learned the hard way. So
they did, but we're all being punished for that.
Yes, exactly. But I find it very interesting that this is, and this is turning, the election is more and more turning on abortion, even though the polls don't show it, and the reactions on television don't show it, but every time there's an actual election, it shows. So what does that teach us? Ha 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 ha.
It teaches us what we knew.
That's
right.
And
it teaches them nothing because they don't care.
But if it wins us the election, that's all we need.
Oh, I'm real. I think Florida, they might pull it out. I really do.
That's incredible.
I hope so. That's my home state, so I'm really hoping that.
Mine too.
Where are you from?
Lake Worth. I was born in Lake Worth.
I'm from Palm Beach.
Oh my God, our mothers
I went
were
to Palm
neighbors.
Beach High.
Our mothers were neighbors. No. I got out very early. I was a few weeks old, and I looked around. And I thought, I don't think so. And so,
You're right.
So I made them move. Yeah, but no.
Wow.
But oh my God. Well, you are incredible. You are just fantastic.
Thank you.
No, it's
thank
amazing.
You so much.
It's
Makes
amazing.
Me feel so good.
It's amazing how much you've done in how comparatively little time, and how you did it first. Now, there's more like you now in the field. You said there was. What did you say? There were 13 or so. Something?
Now, it was 13 original, like the colonies. 13 original funds, and then I counted 13. I hope I'm right, but I've always known it to be 13. And then under Marlene Gerber-Fried, she was an excellent. Person that put this whole national network together and really got the word out and let funds start helping people locally.
Wow. But you're national.
We're national, but they all call us. We call if somebody's in Tennessee. Well, not now. Well, if somebody's in Virginia, because they're overloaded right now, they call us as well as calling the funds in Virginia. All right? That's what they do. The local funds is what they contact first. And then,
Well, you go ahead. You go on.
No, and then after they don't have enough money, they call us. But they usually call us all the time because it got so expensive funding women. It became abortions, which were 150 when I started. I mean, my God, they're $700-800 now for. It's just a first trimester. It's because of supply and demand, as we all know.
That's
right. They have to travel, and they have to travel. They have to travel. But I had some very good news. Did you get a copy of our stats? We have a Did You Know stats. I'm just so pleased with the numbers.
No, I
didn't.
Well,
I'm going to send it to you so you can use it. But it shows that last year we helped $1,815,000. I'm saying it wrong. $1,815,873 in funds that we generated, which helped 12,857 patients.
Oh, Joyce.
Now, 49 of them had to travel out of the state.
Yeah.
And 60% of their pregnancies resulted from failed birth control or no birth control. But that number, 78%, about the partner, is still true.
That's still true. 78% of these women have been abandoned by their partners. Oh, my God.
Right. And most of them, I mean, the youngest that we helped was 12. But we have a lot of minors. And it is just amazing to me how bad it is for women right now. And I'm shaken every day when I see what's going on. And, I follow this because it's my life. And,
of course.
And I see what's going on.
And you're the point of the spear again.
Yes, exactly. exactly.
In a sense, you always were until this
Yes.
became completely and
absolutely.
totally affordable and legal and no problem. But
Right,
but
exactly.
now you obviously are, because it's so clear that this is where it comes down. This is what it comes down to. It's control of our very bodies and our lives.
Exactly.
And
It's all about that.
yeah, it's all about it. It's
You know,
ownership.
Mika Brzezinski, is that her name? Yeah, who was with Morning Joe.
Yes.
She took quite a stand on this issue.
Did she?
Oh, my God. She has a women empowerment group, and she has been beating every day about women having to travel, raped children having to go to another state. She has been amazing, and Joe has come along.
Good for them. Well, good for
Joe has come along. I wouldn't be able to watch it if I didn't hear this, but Joe is he's now, somebody called him, what was it? I think they called Bill Riley. He used to say Tiller the killer. Well, look what happened to Dr. Tiller. I'm just saying. They inflamed with all the stuff that they brought up. They inflamed, and they made people hurt people. They had these people are evil. That's what they are. They're evil. They're not religious to me, because you wouldn't do that to people. That's the bottom line.
No. I think they're very, very sick and very strange and peculiar. I don't think I necessarily believe in evil per se, but but maybe I'm wrong. And also, I certainly don't think that they're our sort of person. Let me put it that way.
No.
I think that they're really quite mad and quite psychotic and quite
Okay, that's a better word than evil. I'll use psychotic and mad. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's actually better than evil, because psychotic really does hit it.
Yeah, it's like pretty nuts. But the work that you've done and that you've done for 35 years, my God,
Thank you.
You've got a record. This is so impressive. This is just and we've done, we've covered newer funds and younger funds and baby funds and all sorts of different kinds of coverage. But it's a real honor to talk with you, Joyce, because you're the source.
Thank you.
It's very special to talk with you.
Thank you so much, and it is an honor to speak to you. And please, Gloria has been so supportive of this organization. She wrote a beautiful, we send it out when we would apply, a letter about why people should support us and the work we were doing. And she's been very instrumental in helping us get off, start the funds and getting knowledge. So it's been...
She is one hell of a fundraiser.
Boy, is she ever. Is she ever.
But it's you who've been there, in the pits, as it were, and and working with the women and keeping them alive and dealing with the anger and the problems at that level. And, it's amazing what you've done. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you personally, and thank you so much also for being with us on Women's Media Center Live. I'm deeply grateful.
And may I just add that if they want to donate, they can go to WRRAP.org. And the system is very, very secure, and you can go on there and donate any amount. We are thrilled with any amount.
That's
I'm sure
That's WW.
It's WRRAP. One W, two R's.
One W, two R's
.com.
Org.
What's my com? Org. What's wrong with me? .org. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Of course, we're an org. Okay.
WRRAP.org.
Right. And you do know we do the pills. We do send out, we have providers doing the pills for us, and we've kept that fee at $150 while a lot of others have risen their rates.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. And so a lot of people, a tremendous amount of women are using that form. As you know, it's overtaken 56% last year.
Wow.
Used the uphill.
Well, they're coming after that one too. But for the time being, we're going to make the most of it. You're damn right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ah, God. Oh, well, bless you.
So we're doing everything we can.
You certainly are. Bless your heart. Thank you so much. And for everything that you do, you are one hell of a great woman.
Thank you very much. I so appreciate that, and from you especially.
We have to take one last break, but then I'll be right back with some fighting words. The Women's Media Center, founded in 2005 by Jane Fonda, Gloria Steinem, and myself, is a progressive, nonpartisan, nonprofit organization working to make women visible and powerful in media. You can learn more about the WMC at womensmediacenter.com.
You're listening to Women's Media Center Live with Robin Morgan.
Learning to fall. Those are not only crucial words to acquaint oneself with, they're fighting words. I've been falling a bit lately, combination of Parkinson's and age, and it's not pleasant, but it is illuminating. So this poem comes out of that, and I'm rather fond of it. It has an epigraph. The epigraph is simply, quote, "When the fall is all there is, it matters." That's from The Lion in Winter, Act 3, by the playwright James Goldman. Learning to fall. To fall without self-pity is no small feat. It requires a kind of hubris and demands a sort of tact. It necessitates a sense of humor. "Oh no, I'm quite all right," you laugh, as if the shock of finding yourself mid-air, flying, and then splayed out across the floor was perfectly normal. Such a bore. Reassure others, that's the key. Let them think you should have declined, which you did, that second drink. Whether you misstep, trip, or stumble doesn't matter. Internal indecision sets it off, that initial loss of balance, the slide, the dive in slow motion, reaching through solid air, grasping only where inevitably waits the awful thud in landing. A time delay of pain, but still the one thing you can absolutely trust to happen, along with cheerful self-disgust. So tell me how it's not humiliation in the slightest, that this bulb, once glittering amongst the brightest, lies now shattered, stuttering, off on warnings. Tourists out of your depths. Remind me that I needn't be embarrassed. You're only trying to help. It's for my own good. I patronize myself with such banalities, forfeiting pride, while bitterly recalling I might have once been done with it and cleanly died. Gravity, the weakest force in the universe, fixes us in place, unable to seek a better cosmos. So we go on falling, not down or up, but toward the center, the heart. Black holes, bulging galaxies, a sparrow's plunge, empires, soufflés, the symmetry unique to every snowflake's melting, sucked into that forbidden knowing. That moment when, in dread, you stagger to your feet again. And that's our show for this week. You can follow me on social media at The Robin Morgan. You can check out my blog at robinmorgan.net, and you can find my new novel, Parallax, and my just-out new book of poems, Harvesting Darkness, wherever books are sold. Portions of this program were taped earlier. Views expressed here do not necessarily represent the WMC. Here's the family for Women's Media Center Live. Executive producer, as well as founding and sustaining sponsor, Regina K. Scully. WMC President and co-executive producer for this program, Julie Burton. I'm Robin Morgan, your producer and host. Thank you for being with us. Join us next time on Women's Media Center Live.